For yielding. Mr. Lamb, you recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks.
Are you aware the Congressional Budget Office estimated that the Mission Act would cost around $46.5 billion over the 4 years from 2019 to 2023?
Yes, sir.
That number is familiar to you?
Yes.
Now, as far as I'm aware, there's no pay-for that is specifically for that $46.5 billion, right?
Correct.
Okay. And those would be discretionary funds?
Yes.
So they would count against the budget cap on VA under the current arrangement?
Probably. Yes, sir.
And if we went over that budget cap because of this $46.5 billion or any other spending, that would trigger sequestration, right?
Correct.
So in other words, for that $46.5 billion, in order to avoid the sequestration, we'll have to find the money within VA's current budget, right?
Correct.
Okay, now, are you aware that the President has asked that each of his agencies cut their total budget by 5%?
Yes, I am.
Did you receive that request yourself
did.
from the President?
I did.
Okay. Now, do you have a plan to do that?
I have discussed the plan with OMB.
What is the plan?
I've discussed the plan with OMB. The President hasn't approved it, so I will wait for his decision.
Will the money for community care be cut by 5%?
I am, well, first of all, I'll just say for the choice program, we're fully funded. We're funded into next year. I have no, and I will say that in the submission that I made, there were no cuts in community care.
There were no cuts in community care. So the 5% would come from the rest of the VA's budget that does not involve community care,
Absolutely.
correct?
And as a steward of the taxpayers' money, I'm going to do my best to make sure that we are as efficient and lean as possible.
So actually, the non-community care part of the VA's budget is going to be cut twice, right? It's going to be cut by this 5% requirement, and it's going to be cut by whatever needs to be spent on community care.
Well, we don't know where it's going to be cut. I have made proposals.
You have made a proposal.
I have made a proposal.
And you're not sharing with us any of the details of that proposal.
Because I have not had that conversation with the President.
Does it involve cuts to personnel?
It makes efficiencies in the system, I will say that.
Does it involve fewer personnel 2 or 3 years from now than there are today?
No, I can't say that. I can say that in the last fiscal year, we've hired 11,000 more employees at VA. So we have been hiring at a very steady rate.
Will you commit to providing us before the end of this year an itemization of the things that you propose to be cut with that 5% requirement?
I commit to discussing with the committee at the earliest possible date the decisions that are made by the people who are responsible for those decisions. Again, I owe the President the courtesy of having him make the decision and then come to the Congress, and you are the ultimate arbiter of what that budget will be. I can tell you from my experience what usually happens in Democrat and Republican administrations when a budget comes to Congress. I can't think of the last time one was passed as it came over from the White House. That's just the practical nature of the business.
Do you know when you'll find out from OMB or from the President?
Oh, I certainly hope in the next few weeks.
Okay, and we do have your commitment, once you receive word from them, to brief us on your proposed cuts to the VA.
Once the President has given the all clear, and you know the dance that goes on with the budget process, usually coming in to the finish line sometime in February. I will be as transparent as I can be within the strictures of the system as it has existed for all the way back to 1974.
Well, we would like to see an itemized proposal that you have given to the White House as to what should be cut, and we would like to see that at the earliest possible date.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you, gentleman, for yielding. Just to clarify a little of this.